Today I was hanging out at my friendly local game store with my daughter Luisa, who is 4. Basically, we were waiting for the other daughter, the 6-year-old Amelia, to be done with her violin lesson, and we will pick her up and go for dinner, etc., etc. And while Luisa and I were there, I saw this game, which seemed simple and fun enough that probably I would have a good time playing with my 4-year-old. So I decided, what the heck, I'll give it a try. And if you watch my videos lately, you know that I have these like spur of the moment purchases of games I know nothing about. And then after I play them, I make a video about them. Walk on Fire. In this game, you prepare stir fries. You stir elements, ingredients in this imaginary pan, and at the end of the game, after you collect a lot of ingredients, you make them, you organize them into sets that represent the recipes for the dishes that you're making. Really fun idea. I also like stir fry. Also, it was before dinner, so maybe I was partial to that thing. In the game, you have a deck of cards that you will divide in two, and part of the deck will be simply scattered around the table face down, the way you see it here, simulating giant frying pan in which players are stirring ingredients and taking them out when they are ready. Each player gets a spatula card, really cute spatulas, and each player also gets a player aid that is a summary of how you score points at the end of the game, plus a couple of other rules. When it is your turn, first you must stir the bunch of ingredients twice, and you must flip a list of cards to the other side. After a while, there will be some cards that are face up, so flipping a card that is face up, face down is still valid, but you have to flip twice and to manage to flip a card. Once you're done with flipping, you will collect 2 cards if you can. Green peppers you have to collect first if they are available. Other rules is that, well, you see that the cards have a center here and little dots on the corners. That is to indicate that you have to see at least one of the corners to be able to pick up a card. So if, for example, things were slightly different and that was the case, I wouldn't be able to pick up that card because I can't see any of the corners. Also, you have to see at least part of the circle, so I wouldn't be able to pick up that card. So you pick up two cards with some restrictions. I decide, for example, I want some broccoli. I got some green pepper here, and the fact that you have to pick up green pepper is just a rule. And I decided I want some pork. And at the end of my turn, after I stirred twice and I picked up 2 cards, I take 2 cards from the deck and I throw them into the pan, pretending that I'm chopping them like this. It's cute. It's silly, but it's cute. And then the next player goes. The next player will flip and flip. And I'm just going randomly like this, but there might be at times a little bit of strategy. For example, I don't want you to get that card, then I'm gonna try to cover it. That was a poor attempt. I'm simply gonna try to flip it to the other side, and that didn't work. So there can be a little bit of strategy, meaning that you may have ideas of what you would like to do, but then I don't know if you are well versed in the art of flipping cards. It's not something that you can really train for, or that other game may have trained you for. So huge randomness is like the strategy, what I would like to do, but the randomness is strong with this one. But very simple mechanic. Stir twice, get 2 cards if you can, add them to your pile, chop 2 new cards into the system. And again, a couple of other rules. For example, if a card is completely separated from the main walk, you cannot pick it up, etc., etc., etc. Once you go through all the cards, that is, all the cards have been assigned, and the players will make them into sets. The most valuable set is if you have a noodle with a meat, a veggie, and a condiment, which is a yellow card. There you go. And this set here is worth 25 points. Noodle with these 3 things. Rice with a meat and a vegetable is 15. Meats per se, they can score by themselves, and of course you can score each card only once. That is, you can put each card in a set and count it only as one. This, the chicken's worth 2, pork 3, shrimp 4, the most pork, longest road, largest army, largest head of porks. You get 5 points at the end of the game. The broccoli are worth 5, which is good, but you have the player with the most. You are the player with the most broccoli. You lose -10. A set of 3 mushroom is 18. Onion. The more you have, the more you score. This is for 1 onion, 2 onions, 3 onions, and so forth. Green pepper -5, but then again, you also have to pick up if you're able. The pepper is worth 10 if you mix it together. You combine it with the green pepper. Also, it allows you, if you discard it, to pick up another card. So, for example, maybe you'll be able to pick up a set of 3 mushrooms in a single turn if you discard the pepper. The garlic triples the value of a meat. Meats are not all that great, but garlic and shrimp, that's 12 points, not that bad. There are a couple of other rules, and I would say actually there are a couple of little nitty-gritty details that I find completely unnecessary about you get a card, but then you can get another card. What you do if you get the card? A couple of minor rules about how you get card and what you get and what you're forced and mandated to get. That we actually, I don't find all that necessary. It seems to me that the game is clean and neat in its simplicity and its silliness. I don't want to have too many rules and sub-rules. I don't think really add anything. So basically, and this is just the way my daughter Louisa and I played it, and then later we also played it with a 6-year-old Amanda. That's just the way we play. We pretty much ignore all the rules about well, you have to pick up this, you have to pick up all the chicken, if you pick up the garlic, you have to do this other stuff. Flip twice, take 2 cards, score them at the end. The end. We even actually ignored the pepper rule because I don't really find that really does much. The game is not, is not civilization game, is not a sophisticated game to start with, and I don't need small rules about small bonuses and small procedures. The game is supposed to be silly. And in its silliness, it works. Yes, it's gimmicky. Yes, it's random. And when my adult friends come over for game night, this may not be the first game that hits the table. But I played it today with both of my daughters, first alone with the 4-year-old, then together with the 4 and the 6, and they liked it a lot. It's physical, the kinesthetic element, moving stuff, the sort of like almost theatrical element is really fun. It creates a strong connection in the mind of a child between you and the game components. And forming sets, again, we skipped the small rules and just pretty much looking at the big print, not the small print, and at these sets, my daughters really understood the idea, and they were preparing sets, and they were thinking about what they wanted and evaluating, well, should I get an extra chicken and put it here? Should I get an extra pork and get it there? Etc, etc, etc. So forming sets was something that was fun for them. Also, they play Sushi Go, and clearly they saw some similarities between Sushi Go and this game. Sushi Go with spatulas. That could be another way of defining the game. With spatulas, and again, more slightly fiddlier rules when it comes to picking up cards. And I'm not even getting into those rules because again, I don't like them. That's it. And my daughters also. We tried playing by the rule book, and we're like, why do we have to worry about that or this or that small rule? It doesn't add anything. So, in conclusion, Walk on Fire, a game that I recommend to families. If you only play games with adults, this is probably not a game that you need. If you want a simple game where we are putting together combination of edibles, then stick to Sushi Go. That one is superior. On the other hand, if you do have children, this is a fun game. This is really a fun game. And hey, it's about cooking. And these days, when so many people just don't cook anymore, they just get their food pre-made and they put it in the microwave. The idea that you get your kids interested in the idea of getting their hands metaphorically dirty with cooking, that's fun. That's fun stuff. That's an interesting message to me. and you can work there and put together your little combos and cook your dinner. That's an interesting message to me. And this idea is gimmicky. You bet it's gimmicky. Don't think that I don't see it, but my kids don't. My kids don't see that it's gimmicky, and they think it's the coolest thing since sliced shrimp. So for kids, it's a great game. I don't even think actually this will become a classic in my family. I think even with for a filler, there are other games that my daughters will enjoy more. But you know what? We already played a couple of times, and it was fairly cheap. I think we're gonna play that a couple of times, and I'll be happy. If we just played it a couple of times, I think that my investment of like, what was it, like $14 or so, was put to good use. Because if we go to the movie theater, then well, it's much more expensive. And this one is cute, is fun. It's gimmicky, yes. I think it's too complicated for its own good, but you can just do like me, ignore the rules and make the game work for you. So with all these negatives, I'm still gonna recommend it, but recommend it only and specifically to parents, or in any case to adults that are gonna play with kids. Play with kids, Walk on Fire can be a great fun. With adults, probably not so much.